Last thing, Lewis, which I want to get to, a CNN reporter used the N-word on live TV, and this was Drew Griffin of CNN's Special Investigations Unit, and he used the N-word when talking about a hate crime conviction and also contextualizing with the Trayvon Martin story. And the question is whether this is a language that should be used at all when talking about these types of stories. Does the mere use of the language just when reporting what someone else said add or take away from racial tension? Here's the clip. I think we have it. Here we go.
End of this, Daryl Dudman is laughing with his friends and actually called on a cell phone and, pardon my language, but there's no other way to say this, said, "I just ran over that effing nigger." That's what he said. And it was a clear-cut case of pure racial intent murder that took place there, which is why it was so fun.
Okay, so what do you think about this? I mean, it's one of the most offensive words in the English language. Some news outlets just don't use it. Some news outlets apparently do use it. I didn't think CNN was one of the ones that did. Are we adding to the story by saying the full word and giving people the real story of what was said? I mean, he also said effing, right?
Right.
So, or are we better served by not using the full word?
Let's be honest. It sounds kind of ridiculous if you say effing N-word, right?
Okay.
Context is everything. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I understand why certain outlets ban the word, but if you put such a taboo on the word, I mean,
makes it a bigger deal.
It makes it a bigger deal, and you're giving that word more power. I mean, not to say that this word should have no power. Obviously, it has a lot of history, but in this case, I don't see any problems.
Natan?
Well, it seems like there's two questions here. One is whether, the word should be said on television. The other one is whether what this guy said was offensive. I think that the answer to the second question is it wasn't, and maybe it's even good that he used it because he made people feel what it feels like to hear the word instead of saying N-word, which is a good way of transmitting, the emotional impact of what happened.
Certainly.
I agree.
So I don't know.
Okay, tell me, should when we're talking about quoting what someone else said, and this isn't a question about indecency, Lewis. We're not talking about 7 dirty words and Obama ignoring the FCC regulations. That's not the argument here.
Right.
The question is who is better served by the word being used or not. Let's take a break. Big bonus show today. U.S. paid out $50,000 per Afghan death in that massacre that took place recently in Afghanistan. The Muslim Guide to Wife Control. It's an interesting book. DavidPakman.com/membership.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.